Welcome to the Cuse Militia Podcast with those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
What's up, Cuse Nation? Thanks for tuning in to the Cuse Militia Podcast with Sean and Joe. The universal handle for the socials is at Cuse Militia. Go there, join the militia. We are the only Syracuse sports podcast centered around giving you, the fans, a voice. So welcome. A quick turnaround. We are just working our fingers to the bone for you folks. I think we just did a podcast a couple days ago. So we're trying to fit a lot in between now and football season to get us ready and to get you ready.
No, I'm ready.
Joe, shut up. So, some more news than I would have expected at this time of the year, I guess, kinda. Not really, maybe a little bit. So let's do the bad news first. Get the bad news out of the way, okay?
All right.
Got three bad things of bad news, which I mean, that's terrible, right? Ed Hendrix, he's been suffering injury. He's been ruled out indefinitely and is seeking additional options. This is his third injury that he suffered since arriving in 2018. It is reportedly these injuries by Stephen Bailey, reportedly Syracuse.com. They've all occurred on the same leg. So, that's so unfortunate. I mean, I guess it's, he went down in training camp. So
yeah. Well, and a lot of it comes down to whether or not it was contact or non-contact. You're always afraid of those non-contact injuries where guys tear something just off of cutting or just running without any, type of force on them or a tackle or anything. So we really don't know what it is, but it might be time for him to really, take some time. I mean, I don't want to say away from the team, but he's going to have to take some time to really make sure that they figure out what's up with the leg. And
obviously there's something not right.
Right, yeah, and take as much time as you can. The kid's still young; he's redshirt freshman, so take however much time you can, physical therapy, whatever you have to do to get that leg stronger to be able to come out and actually attempt to, hopefully it's not a career-ending thing. He just needs to actually.
It made it sound really bad, but right, it happened in training camp. So I mean, I guess we don't know exactly what it is, obviously, but I hope that maybe towards the end of the season or maybe, something. I mean, he was going to get some burn this year probably. So, it's just too bad, man. I guess it's too
bad based upon everything we heard going into, spring football last year and everything. And then he ended up getting hurt in the off season. And again, it's just one of those guys that, had talent, but you just can't see it because you just can't stay on the field. So take as much time as you can. I don't care if it's this year, if it's next year. Yeah, take the time to get your body ready. Yeah.
So some more news on that front that's a little disappointing. Jake Picard, defensive end. He's been medically disqualified due to an unresolved injury. So redshirt senior, he appeared in just one game over the last 2 years. He as well, leg issues, knee issues, to be exact. He played in 10 games as a redshirt freshman in 2016. He recorded 11 tackles, but unfortunately, that's going to be probably the end of the road for him. So that same thing happened to our buddy Tyler. He was medically disqualified too. So same position as well.
With concussions and other things, right? So I mean, I just hope that this isn't the road that eventually happens to Ed Hendrix. I remember Pickard coming out. I believe that we stole him from Michigan, one of the last days in signing before signing day. So he was kind of one of the bigger recruits, and ever since that redshirt freshman year that you just talked about, he's pretty much had either shoulder problems or knee problems, and I'm hoping that that's not the route that Ed Hendrix goes. I know that he's taken the time to rehab, and it just comes back and he just gets injured. So who knows if he's going to get another chance for maybe one more year eligibility somewhere else, but I hate seeing this, especially when you never get to see some kids' full potential, I
know it sucks. It sucks because, they're just young kids too, and they're out there, they're abusing themselves a little bit. But, you wait for these guys to play. We knew about his injuries, and same thing with Ed. and you just want them to come out and play and enjoy themselves, basically. And stuff happens, but that's unfortunate.
Right.
John,
it is.
John Bozak, last piece of bad news. So he is not going to get to travel with the team to Italy due to visa issues. And it is either one of two things from what I've read. And it is either that Italy's not going to admit him into Italy, or that if he leaves the United States, he's not going to get to come back. So the university did everything they could, and they couldn't, find a way to work it out. And that's unfortunate for him. He's gonna be a little bit behind the ball, coming out of the trip to Europe. But on the other hand, if there's a silver lining, I guess Jesse Edwards will be there to get some experience and be on the court. But again, it sucks, out of his control. So those rules are really. I read somewhere that these players could have to have up to 4 visas while they are in school playing here in the United States.
Right.
So,
Yeah, sometimes it's difficult. And again, it does. I was looking forward to having everyone there to be able to see.
I know. Now you got Dolezaj out, John Bozak out.
Yeah, I mean, we know what Dolezaj can do. He's going to be a contributor either way, but this kind of gives. Again, Sidibe, he's been there, and he's gonna be on the court. He's gonna get playing time. So again, I thought all along it was basically who's gonna get the leg up in center between Jesse Edwards or John Bozak, and whether or not they'd even be able to dethrone Sidibe. Now it looks like Jesse Edwards is gonna be the only one to have that chance. And again, he's kind of that dark horse that everyone's been talking about. So maybe that extra time will, like you said, be a little bit of a silver lining. But it's definitely going to put John Bozak behind the 8 ball. And again, with those 4 Italy games, and then we have the 2 exhibitions. But then you're talking, we don't have Cornell or Colgate week 1. The first game. We're playing Virginia, and we have 2 more or 2 less non-conference games, so to speak. So we have some tough ones. So it's going to be tough for him to catch up. And again, it's bad news. Not as bad as the other news. At least it's not an injury. But either way, I feel like a lot of our depth and a lot of what Boeheim is going to decide, especially early on in the season, is going to come on that Italy trip.
Yeah, I know. That's what sucks. So, all right, the last thing. This is some good news. Eric Dungey's coming back. Dungey is
back. He has another year?
He's coming back to Syracuse. He's going back to school. He's going to finish his degree. He's going to get his accounting degree. He's going to finish it up. And, everything's great. Except for he's not going to play football. But what he is going to do is you'll get to hear him on TK99. Yeah, allegedly. You will get to hear him on TK99, and you'll also get to hear him on ESPN Radio with Brent Axe on his show On the Block, and Gomez and Lisa in the morning. He's going to have weekly segments on both of those shows, and he's also going to co-host pre- and post-game coverage for the stations while he's finishing up his classes. So that's cool, right?
Yeah. It's going to help those guys. Kudos for those companies to do that, because Dungey's just going to bring. Oh,
he's going to drive
some
traffic.
Clicks.
He's going to drive.
Oh yeah,
he's going to drive traffic for sure.
And he'll be around the program still. I'm sure he'll be out there helping. So hopefully, maybe he'll be able to be on the sidelines for DeVito. Who knows how far that's going to extend? But either way, definitely. It's funny that he's going to be back. Hopefully it doesn't happen in a negative way. Hopefully DeVito's not sitting here like, will this guy just get out of here?
Get the hell out of here, man. Let me have my damn team, for crying out loud.
Now he's going to talk about me?
Yeah, he's going to be analyzing everybody now, and the guys are going to listen, so he'll toe the line anyway, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, that's just us having a little fun with it. I don't think it's going to be the case whatsoever. No. La Familia, you know what I mean? So
yeah. By the way, latest episode of La Familia out. I'm a horrible fan. I haven't watched it yet, so I didn't do my homework, which is why I'll watch it tonight. Which is why I didn't mention it. But it is out, so go check it out. We are going to have a little fun with the poll. We are going to have a little fun with some Joe's training camp report. And then we're gonna go over the running backs. But first, we got to hear from the good folks over at SeatGeek and MyBookie. Football season is approaching, but you know what season never ends? That is the ticket want season. We want tickets year-round, so why not go to SeatGeek if you have not yet? Download the app to your phone. Go to their website. What it's going to do is it'll scan the web for the best deals on tickets to your favorite games, concerts, or shows. It'll rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. It'll let you know if you're getting the best bang for your buck. Not only will it rate them with numbers, but it'll rate them with colors, okay? So if you don't understand numbers, listen up. A green dot, that marks a great deal. A yellow dot, that's a good deal. And a red dot, that's not so good of a deal. But if you are desperate and you have to bite on the red dot, I got something else for you. Use promo code ACAA at checkout and get $20 off your first purchase. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, go to SeatGeek. Use promo code ACAA at checkout. Get $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, life's an event, and we have the tickets. It is also approaching football season. As I mentioned, Antonio Brown is with my Raiders. Le'Veon Bell is with the Jets. Odell Beckham is in Cleveland. The one thing that hasn't changed, and that's where I'm putting my money on all these games, and that's MyBookie. They are the place to bet on football every weekend. MyBookie has better bonuses and more prop bets than any other sports book, period. This year, they're hosting the first online handicapping super contest. First place is guaranteed to win at least $100,000, and it only costs $100 to enter. All you got to do is pick 5 NFL games against the spread every week to climb the leaderboard and score your share of the huge cash prize pool. Now remember, I would only recommend a service that's been good to me to all of you. So go to MyBookie. That's where I put my money down. That's where Joe's put his money down. You win, they pay. MyBookie has live in-game betting on every NFL game. They got the most rewarding player perks in the business, and for all you fancy guys and gals out there, you can even bet the over-under on how many fantasy points a player will score each game. Join now and get up to $200 in free bets. Use promo code Cuse25 to activate that offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie, and don't forget to use the promo code Cuse25 when creating your account to claim the free bonus. Bet, win, get paid. Thank you to SeatGeek and MyBookie. We did a poll, and that poll went a little something like this. And we got a little fan feedback on it. Is it poll time? Yeah, it's poll time, right? No, it's training camp time. It's training camp time, Joe. You didn't stop me. So, besides the injuries, Joe, besides the injuries at training camp, what kind of news we got coming out of there? There's some offense. Well, let's start here. Babers wasn't there the first day of practice. We now know why. We didn't get to talk about that, right? So, you're on mute.
Yep.
There he is. It's going down the tubes fast, folks. And I apologize.
Such a long read. It was such a long read. So much to do.
I know. So, we didn't get to talk about Babers. He went to his mom's birthday party, like a good son would do on her 80th birthday. Been 30 years since he'd been to her birthday. Or seen her on her birthday at least, right? So we know why he wasn't there on Friday. We've got that. We've got the injury news. And then some offensive line shifts. So what's going on, Joe? What'd you gather on the interwebs, buddy?
Well, they finally had, allowed media to talk, and obviously we know why media wasn't allowed to talk the first day. I actually, going back to that Babers thing, I thought it was real cool that he actually, asked the team for permission. He's that kind of guy, making sure he's going to ask the team for permission. And also, with the whole team knowing, it's amazing that story didn't come out any sooner. So I just thought altogether that just proves how much of a family, that's internal stuff with how many people? I mean, that's got to be 100+ people that could have said something.
That's respect. That's what that is.
Well, that's respect, but it proves what he's building. It proves that it's legit, it's real, and so I love that, and I love just how that whole thing went down. They also had talked to Tommy DeVito, and he was just carrying himself well. Just more and more, the farther we go and the more I actually hear him talk from ACC day to the other day, I just get more and more confident in him and the fact that he's actually going to be a good leader and be able to take this thing over. So those were the first couple things. The next thing that I saw Mikel Jones when we run 4-3, when we go 3 linebacker sets. He's running with the starters, Lakeem Williams and Andrew Armstrong, which I think is pretty telling. There's been a lot of other articles, Syracuse.com, especially today, had a bunch about the linebacker core and that, Babers doesn't think we're going to have to worry about linebackers after this year because he thinks that, again, like what we talked about, that there's a solid core underneath these 2 seniors that are probably going to contribute most this year. And then those guys are going to be mainstays for the next 2 or 3 years. So there's a little bit of that I'm excited about. And also today, basically the offensive line. When I saw they were talking about the ones and who they were starting with, they had Sam Heckel at center, and they had right guard. They had that Darius Tisdale, who's that junior college guy that we got. And then at right tackle, I believe they had Cervase, and then they had Evan Adams at left guard, and then they had Ryan Alexander, that graduate transfer from South Alabama, over on left tackle. So that's what they started with. That's what they were running with. Today, also, Syracuse.com reported that Sam Heckel was out with an undisclosed injury, and so they did a little bit of shuffling, and they took redshirt freshman Carlos Vettorello and moved him over to right tackle and moved Cervase to center. So that's a little bit of insight of how at least the offensive line's looking right now. But again, only day 5. So, there's definitely going to be more to come. And again, like we talked about, we're kind of rolling through these episodes, try to get people ready, get hyped for the season because, the expectations are high. So I know they got their first scrimmage, I think inter-squad scrimmage or their team scrimmage this Saturday. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of highlights and plenty of stories through there. Let's just hope that we, knock on wood, get through injury-free. But speaking about highlights, did you see those highlights from Courtney Jackson and Tristan Jackson?
Yeah, I posted those on the socials, so you can go check them out. I did. Look, here's why I posted them on Facebook and Instagram by screen recording. I gave credit. But there was no way to share there. So that's why I do that sometimes. They only had it on Twitter, and I couldn't find it on, I don't know if it came up later on Facebook. But anyway, that was Stephen Bailey's cell phone footage.
Yeah.
And they tweeted it out at Syracuse.com on Twitter, so I've recorded it and put it on Facebook and everything. But just the one-handed grab by Courtney Jackson, amazing. Looks like obviously they're working on the corner of the end zone, maybe.
Right. Yep.
So and that's isn't that where Tristan Jackson caught the pass last year in the bowl game, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And Tristan Jackson, he caught a good one against Chris Frederick.
Yeah, right over top of him.
The same day. Yeah. So you're watching that kind of stuff is definitely interesting, and then seeing some of the pictures. I'll tell you what, maybe it was just the angle. I don't know. But that's another thing that I wish, our podcast with Tyler, one of the things that I actually saw through some of the pictures, scrolling through, Syracuse.com and some of the other articles and some other, Inside the Loud House, stuff like that. You see just pictures of the players and you get to actually see how much bigger they look. And I saw one the other day, and Sean Riley, to me, I don't know if it was just the angle, but he looked jacked. And I don't know, but so that's again, I wish that's something that I remembered when we did Tyler Morona and the 3 things,
Yeah.
Tyler Morona's podcast of the 3 things, but just how the players are going to look through another year of strength and conditioning. Because some of those pictures, boy.
He's listed 5'8", 170. Do you look for 5'8", 170, do you?
See, it's tough because you can't really tell the height because you do know how short he is.
Well, you know the height, though. He is short. He's short.
Right.
But, I'm talking about muscle mass. 170?
I don't know, man. His upper body, he looked like he had his arms were bigger than. I'm just saying.
That's what I thought about DeVito earlier in the season.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I thought about DeVito earlier in the season when he was in the weight room.
Yeah, DeVito and Cisco looks bigger too. Yeah. So and the other thing too that I read again today in Syracuse.com as well. Obviously, they have great footage, guys over there. But
it helps to have access like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It would start with living in the state or the city, right?
It only costs you $14.99 a month, and it can all be yours.
Hey, man, don't knock the hustle, bro. People are buying. I'm just saying the one news that also came out, and this is another thing I think that goes towards the confidence that Babers has in some of these younger linebackers, is basically Terrell Richards He's going to mix him in a little bit with linebacker, and he's going to mix him in a little bit with defensive end. But he's just such an athlete and a playmaker that Babers, he called him a utility player, and everybody's just going to use him wherever, whenever, however they can. So,
yeah, man, cool. That's a lot of good news coming out of training camp. Well done, Joe. Leave it up to my good buddy Joe. He's always
you got all the bad news out earlier, so you made it a little bit easier for me.
Yeah. So we did the poll, and which Orange newcomer do you think will have the biggest impact on the offense this season? And we're going to do the defense coming up, but we're kind of working on the offensive positions right now. So I had in there Ryan Alexander, Abdul Adams, Courtney Jackson, or Tristan Jackson. And with 7% Ryan Alexander, but I got some comments on Ryan Alexander. I got Courtney Jackson at 10%. I don't know if a lot of people know who Courtney Jackson is yet, but you got Abdul Adams at 33%. And
they're going to find out.
Yeah, I know. Tristan Jackson takes it with 50%. So I actually went Abdul Adams because I'm sticking with my theme. But the wide receiver core is so talented. It's going to be tough, just like the running backs. I feel like it's going to be tough for someone to really, really stand out. But
that's why I went Ryan Alexander.
Oh, you did? See, it was tough. When I went to go, now I just voted from another account, but because you can't vote from the Cuse Militia account. I won't let you.
Right.
You can't vote on your own poll.
Made the poll.
Right. So when I posted it and I looked at it, and I always wait a little while to see, wait for like 50 votes, and then I can see where I come up on the scale there, because you can't see it till after you do it. But I was looking at it, I'm like, man, it's actually kind of a tough poll. It's probably a tougher poll, and I'm surprised Ryan Alexander only got 7% actually, because we had some comments at Cuse Orange 44, Cuse Orangeman 44. Ryan Alexander may have a huge impact, but it won't be easy to measure. Now, very true, because it's not going to show up on the stat sheet.
Right, and that's everybody is obviously, chicks dig the long ball, people like the touchdowns and the people scoring them, stuff like that. That's kind of, the mentality around sports. So when you get to a guy like an offensive lineman, a lot of times they don't get a lot of the glory, and those aren't the guys that people are going to pick out, and realistically, when you look at the poll and you look at that stuff, I think it does come down to probably a lot of just, like you said, maybe people looking at an offensive lineman as insignificant, or maybe like what you said with Courtney Jackson, maybe they just don't know him yet, because Abdul Adams and Tristan Jackson both, obviously, the big talks with transfers and they used to be 4-stars, but then they both scored touchdowns in the bowl game. So people know him. And they made up, 83%? So that makes a little bit more sense. But again, that comment makes great sense too, because realistically, he could be the anchor that gets this offensive line closer to what it was last year to allow us to even be in the position to do what we did last year.
At Sackmaster52, this guy's a Sackmaster. Either he's self-glorified Sackmaster.
Nice.
It's either, hey man, someone's got to do it, right? It's either Alexander or Tristan. Adams will split a lot of carries. All will make a positive impact. I love Courtney, but next year he will crack the top 3 wide receivers. I voted Tristan because, but if I could split with Alexander, I would. And that's kind of where I was.
Yeah.
With Abdul Adams and Ryan Alexander. So, and I love Tristan Jackson. I think Tristan Jackson's already a star, in my opinion. Is that going too far? Is that going too far?
Something, but I'd like to see it first, other than just one game. You know what I mean?
I know. But obviously, Coach has seen enough to put him in. I mean, he was able to practice with him last year. He just didn't get to play.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's just, is he going to step up and take that role of like?
I don't know if he's going to be able to step up and take the role, but. And I mean, where does he start on the field come Liberty? You know what I mean?
Well, he'll probably be the starter right now. But again, I think you're also seeing somewhat of a transition. And I don't know what it's going to be like this year, because obviously we're going to have a different quarterback. So it's going to be a little bit different of a system of play calling. But as you watched through Dungey, it was like we had to get Amba Towel as a graduate senior to come in and kind of be the guy. Then the next year, Irv Phillips and Ishmael stepped up. But it was like, as you can see, our depth is getting so good now to the point where like we don't need that guy to be the 1,000-yard guy. Right. You know what I mean? We just have so many different options that it's all going to be spread around. So again, is Tristan Jackson just going to be all spread around and kind of have numbers just like Taj Harris and Sean Riley, or is he going to jump up and be the Amba Adebayo of the team? And I think that's where he would win this poll.
At number one Cuse fan, I don't know. Self-glorified again. I'm not sure, but definitely Tristan Jackson. So yeah, I mean, Tristan Jackson, he's going to be popular, man. At Oil Cuse, same thing. Tristan Jackson, without a doubt. So that's it. That was a great poll. We're going to do the defensive one coming up. And you would think that this show is over because it's almost time for it to be over. It's almost time. But wait, there's more. There's more, what? Right, Joe? Yes, there's more for free.
Oh, man, I got to go.
For free.
Just
for free, you guys. There's more. All right, running backs. Let's start from the back. Now, listen, if you didn't listen to the last podcast, you can just hit the rear end of that thing and get the quarterbacks. We talked a little bit about quarterbacks. Pretty small list. You can go back. I think it was maybe 5-7 minutes. But we're going to work our ways to the wide receivers, which might take a day and a half. So Garrison Johnson, I'm going to do the new faces first, I think, and then we'll move on. Garrison Johnson, freshman, 5'10", 230 pounds. He chose Syracuse based on one thing mainly, and that was he spent a season at Manville High School with Kirk Martin, who is the quarterback's coach. So there's a little bit of a relationship there. He's the heaviest running back by 23 pounds. But is he going to get any kind of burn on this long list of running backs, Joe, even in a short yardage situation or anything? I mean, how do you see it? Sit back and learn?
Barring injury, probably not this year.
Right.
And that just only plays to the depth of what we have. And I don't think, just so that people aren't confused, he didn't just get a scholarship to Syracuse because he used to have a high school coach that coaches here now. He actually is good enough to play here. Talent's there, and it's just basically one of those things where I can see him basically redshirting, but with the rule of being able to play up to 4 games, he'll still get in probably a little bit here, a little bit there, whether it's special teams or a couple carries and some garbage time. But I don't think that, again, barring some crazy injuries, Babers isn't going to blow his redshirt year this year, just because of our depth.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
and
someone
the
to look
special
forward
team
to in
stuff
the future
could get a little, can get a little bit of that going at first, So,
right.
The other fresh face, Jawan Jordan, freshman, 5'9", 167, laser time 4.37 and 40 last spring. In the spring scrimmage, speaking of the spring, he tallied 56 yards and a touchdown on 5 carries. So.
Yeah, I think he caught one too.
Did he really?
Yeah. He's very versatile, and again, he's going to be that guy that Babers is going to find ways to get this guy the ball. Just like Sean Riley early in his career and the playmakers that we've had, he's got too much athletic ability and speed. He's got game breaker speed to keep off the field the whole game. So again, I see him definitely carving out some type of role. I just think that he's just way too talented not to. And I mean, it's just that's that. I mean, he's small. He's a small guy. He's never going to be a guy that's going to be able to run through the tackles consistently for 15 plus carries a game. But he can definitely be that little trick play guy going out screen passes. Who knows, going out in motion to the slot. But at the end of the day, he's a playmaker, and he's a true freshman. And Babers is. I would be very, very surprised. Let's put it this way. If he didn't see the field or if he didn't have a certain amount of touches or plays that were meant to get him the ball per game.
You don't see a red shirt in his future?
I don't.
Okay.
I really, really don't. Unless barring, again, some kind of freak injury or something, like I just don't see a way that he doesn't play over 4 games.
Okay. Yeah, that's good news. I like that. All right. Markenzie Pierre, redshirt sophomore, 5'11", 214. He did make use out of the NCAA's 4-game redshirt rule last year, and he took 8 carries for 36 yards, so he got a little bit of burn there. Coming back. So, redshirted. How do you see it, Joe? That's all I got, buddy.
Yeah, well, this is the guy that they were kind of looking when he was his true freshman year. He came in pretty much his body was ready. It was whether he was going to be able to do all the other little things, pass block, be able to figure plays out, tell the line what to do, because the running back has a huge obligation as far as being able to tell the offensive lineman what to do and what blocking scheme they're going and everything like that. So. He played his freshman year. He had fumbling issues, and last year, like again you said, he saw some time, but he got redshirted. So looking at a redshirt sophomore with 3 more years, and again, it's never been about the talent. It's always been about like the consistency and if he can pick up the schemes and everything like that and the calls. So again, I see. This year, we might use him when we need him. Maybe in some game situations, people are banged up. But I see a situation where, again, he's just probably helping on special teams. And, I wouldn't expect too much from him, but it doesn't mean he doesn't have the talent. It's just, again...
Just a crowded position.
It's crowded. Yeah, again, it's crowded. And like I said, I hate to talk about these guys like they have no talent or they shouldn't be on the team, but we just started that loaded. We're top heavy, and so...
Well, it is what it is, right? How about we get into, and here's some of the bruisers now. We're getting into it. Sophomore, 5'10", 213-pound Jarvion Howard logged 327 yards and 4.6 per carry last year, sophomore. Short yardage and goal line specialist, as he is listed here at Syracuse.com, and he led all running backs with 7 touchdowns on 68 carries. So,
right,
which is the goal line specialist tag.
Yeah, he was better than advertised and expected last year. Obviously, there was that. We questioned how good he was going to be because of how strong he was in his body,
just how big his legs are.
Oh yeah, and coming from a small spot out in Mississippi that he might have been under recruited, and he came in and pretty much kind of proved all that. He's here on a mission, and so far, I'd say I would check off season 1 as a success. And again, he's only going to get more fit, more strong, and learn this playbook a little bit more.
I think 3 years left.
Oh, yeah. And again, we're top heavy, and they do have, obviously, our senior and a junior ahead of him. But again, like you said, he has got 3 years left, and he, as a true freshman, led all running backs in touchdowns, correct? Rushing touchdowns. 7. Yeah. So, right. So, rushing, again, I would look for him to, come in for some relief, some maybe end of the game garbage time, being lead back inside the 20s. But in normal game, close game type stuff, he's going to be the goal line guy. He's going to be the guy when you get inside the red zone that is going to see the ball.
And he's not a guy that's going to be easy to stop either, even though it's coming. I mean, he's a freaking bulldozer.
He proved that, especially if you have someone like Chris Elmore that's going to be in front of you lead blocking.
Yeah, I mean, forget it. I mean, it could be...
That's tough. That's tough, man.
It's brutal. It's brutal, dude. It's like getting steamrolled.
Right.
Now, we have one of our transfers we're going to talk about in this category for running backs is Abdul Adams, redshirt junior, 5'11", 202 pounds. He was a former 4-star prospect, transfer from Oklahoma, and he did play in the Camping World Bowl because he transferred early enough last year, and he logged a couple touchdowns there. And I think he's going to get. He's going to be the second guy, and I think by the time this season's coming to a close, getting towards bowl time, I think he's competing for half the carries. That's just maybe. I'm thinking he's that good. He's that good though.
Yeah, you could very well be right. I think I don't know. I felt some sort of way a little bit last year about in the bowl game. I don't know if we've ever even talked about this really, but I just felt like Strickland and Mo Neal got him there, and Abdul Adams got a lot of burn. A lot of stuff looked forced.
A lot of what, Joe? A lot of what, Joe?
A lot of but
you were going to owe a fortune to the swear jar.
Oh yeah. I've been there, done that. I'm saving quarters. But no, but again, he was good, but again, he didn't have the same average that he did like at Oklahoma or anything like that. So not to say one way or another, he scored 2 touchdowns, but I wasn't overly impressed by his runs in the bowl game. But again, I do know the talent's there, and I do know that he's going to be a guy that, like, again, is going to be competing for the majority of the carries. But again, I think Mo Neal and him knowing the blocking scheme and the way that he runs, where he can pass or he can catch and pass block and run, he can do it all. And I think that's his senior year. I don't see him surpassing Mo Neal, but again, I can definitely see it being real close to 50-50.
I can see it being close to 50-50. And here's another thing that works, and we're going to talk about Mo Neal in a second, but this is having a guy like Abdul Adams behind you on the depth chart is 100% motivation for Mo Neal. Right. And
oh yeah, 100%.
He could just beast it this year,
right?
And barring injury, God forbid, but it's good. Competition breeds success, and it also breeds. It brings out the best in everybody.
Right. Good competition.
As far as sports go, the cream rises to the top. So
right. And going back to what I was saying, obviously, if Abdul Adams is going to get the start and carry that much, then obviously he did something during those month or few weeks of practice, between the bowl game and the end of the season, to where he proved himself. So again, he came out of nowhere, and I didn't expect that. I don't think most people did. So yeah, that just proved that he wanted it, and he was hungry. And again, hopefully he's got that same mentality, and he's pushing Mo Neal to be better every single day.
Absolutely, and then probably pushing each other, and without a doubt, because Abdul wants it, and so does Mo. So that's that. Speaking of Mo Neal, senior, 5'11", 195 pounds, North Carolina native.
Yeah, not even close.
that was a miscue.
Can we just get the same time zone?
He averaged 5.6 yards a carry last season, and he did finish the season with a team high 869 yards rushing, and just barely behind Jarvion with 5 touchdowns. So I felt like he had more than that, but. Anyway, his motivation this year, without a doubt, is 1,000-yard rushing season.
Yeah,
and it's a goal. It's been since what, 2012, 2011, since Syracuse.
Jerome Smith.
Okay, you don't remember what year it was. All right, but anyway,
nope.
Anyway, he wants to be the next one. And how do you see it, Joe? That's where you talk and not. I caught Joe mid slug, so my bad.
You did.
Go ahead.
It's all right. It gave me time to think. No, it's. I honestly think he's going to get awful close. I know how it's tough for me to get in between this whole you and Tyler, bet and whole thing that we had there going on, but I just don't see.
I was going against the grain because it's my nature.
I know. I
just had to do it. I had to do it. But the 1,000-yard thing is not going to be easy with a guy like Abdul Adams chomping at your heels.
But that's what I was talking about with Tristan Jackson too. It's just one of those when a defense doesn't know who your number one is or who you're going to give the ball to or throw the ball to, then that's a positive for that offense and a positive for that offensive coordinator. So having those options, it helps the offense, but again, it hurts the individual stats, and that's not a bad thing. As far as a fan goes, because I don't know about you, but I care about wins and losses, not who gets 1,000 receiving yards or 1,000 rushing yards.
Yeah, I'm 100% on that boat with you, bro. I don't care either. I want W's.
Yeah, if it was up to me, every receiver would have 60 catches for 700 yards and 5 touchdowns, and that would be great.
That's a successful season for Tommy DeVito. Absolutely.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying every receiver, but
there's only 25 receivers on that team.
I'm not talking about the whole depth chart, Sean. Obviously, come on.
God. Well, yeah. So it's gonna be the point is it's gonna be a freaking blast, and I mean, will they live up to the hype? That's the big question. As coach,
individuals might not, but I guarantee you, there's somebody a few of those players are going to live up to the hype and step up.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if those top two don't, the next two are ready.
Absolutely. And that's what's great about the college football roster, really. I mean, you got how many players, Joe? All together?
85.
85, 90? Yeah. So
85 scholarship players. But
82. I thought it was, was it 85? Okay, I thought it was 82. It's 85.
No, we have 82 now.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got, okay.
That's the number you got stuck in your head. So,
yeah, okay. Yeah. So anyway, well, that was fun. And hopefully we can get these done a little quicker. Hopefully the news slows down a little bit. So we're like planning this episode.
Why?
Well, because we're planning this episode and we're like, yeah, I'll probably let's do a 20 minute, 30 minute episode, get done real quick. Joe's got softball practice tonight. So we'll just knock one out real quick. And here we are, 40 minutes. And we're just finishing up. So, I mean,
you're welcome.
It's fine. Working our fingers to the bone here for you guys. And we love it. So that is all.
Dude, you got to change. You got to change with the news, man.
I know.
You can't just leave it out because it came out today. We got to keep going, bro.
I know, bro. I know. So that is it, Joe. Anything to top it off? You have anything? No? Okay.
No, I'm all set, bro.
Perfect. That's great. So thank you to SeatGeek. Thank you to MyBookie. Thank you to all of you who are listening. Thanks to James on guitar. And is that all? That's all. I think that's it. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Cuse Militia Podcast, the fan's voice with Sean and Joe.